Hey everybody, I hope you've been enjoying my Spatial Sunday series for the Apple Vision Pro. Today I'm starting a new series, Learn Lightship for Niantic. Niantic has some great tools for all AR developers to create anything that you can imagine. Today I'll show you how to get set up with the new Lightship ARDK 3.0 and Unity. So let's learn together and let's get Niantic. What is Lightship? Lightship is created by Niantic. You can build real-world AR experiences. Well, what is Niantic? Let's take you back 7 years ago.
Pokemon Go has only been out for a few days, but it's already got millions following their smartphones to the most random places. NBC's Jamie Gant has more.
Gotcha.
Pokemon fever is back and it's everywhere.
Nostalgia hits in, like, I'm a kid, I need to play this again, it's real life.
Well, he texted me like 30 minutes ago saying, let's meet up in Hollywood to catch Pokemon.
Try to catch them all, you know?
It's blanketing Los Angeles hotspots like Hollywood and Vine, attracting hordes of players to venture outside to Central Park in New York City to stare at their phones.
Pokemon Go is a free augmented reality game you play on your smartphone. GPS technology places animated monsters inside in the real world around you. Then you flick this ball here to catch it to move on to the next level.
Gotcha!
So there's a little backstory about Niantic and Lightship. They created the world craze and introduced most people to augmented reality. Niantic now wants you, they're giving you the tools to actually build real world AR. Whatever you can imagine, you can actually place in the real world to help with medicine, with construction, with entertainment. Whatever you can think, you can create. Lightship gives you the tools to create innovative real world AR experiences that inspire movement and encourage exploration. You can see here some of the different experiences that people have created. Here is a location-based experience where a hand is coming outside of the museum. To get started, we're gonna go ahead and sign in. If you don't have an account, you can go ahead and click on register now. You can see it's very simple to do that. So go ahead and create your account. When you sign in, you'll have a dashboard. I have a couple of different projects. You can see on the left side, it has projects, geospatial browser. Here's my recent projects. Here's resources. What we're gonna do is install ARDK 3.0 beta. It's currently a beta. It should be released sometime this fall. If you went over here to downloads, you can see this is the current version, which is 2.52. 2.52 is not built on top of AR Foundations. This is a major change release, so we definitely want to go over here. Welcome to ARDK 3.0. This documentation is for the beta release. With 3.0, users can seamlessly mix and match Niantic's unique AR features with Unity's AR Foundation and XR subsystems. This means for the first time, developers can use Niantic features in combination with AR Foundation libraries. We hook into the standard URL and override their functionality. Putting these two things together makes a really powerful tool set for you to build whatever kind of AR experiences you want. So this is a great thing. So let's go ahead to installing ARDK. This video is going to focus on installing it for a Mac. I will build another video showing you how to install it on a Windows machine. These you definitely should read through. Actually, you should read through all of this as a brand new developer or an existing developer. You know documentation is key and you want to read through all of these different things. You can see you need a Lightship account. We just created that account. We're not upgrading, so we're fine here. Before upgrading to an existing project, we're not upgrading, so we're fine here. We're gonna go through these steps. I'm gonna do this one with you today with ARDK plugin with the URL. I'm going to do this one with my Windows machine and for an Android. So you'll have a separate video to show you how to do this one, but both will go through this kind of process of installing Lightship 3.0. So let's go ahead and get started. Number one, we need to install Unity 2021.lts. Unity. This is Unity. It is a gaming engine, but not just a gaming engine. It's used to create 85% of all augmented reality and virtual reality experiences. This is the platform to build 3D immersive content, also 2D games. To go ahead and download, we'll click on that. You can see it says download for Windows here, even though I'm on a Mac. At the bottom, I can download for Windows, download for Mac. So you can choose either one. Again, I would click on download there. I would save it. It's going to install Unity Hub. This is the Unity Hub. You can see I'm already signed in, but I'm going to sign out so you can see what you see. Once it launches, you definitely want to sign in. So I'm going to click sign in or create an account. Now you can see sign into your Unity account. I typically use single sign-on solutions. So Google, Facebook, Apple. Here I'm going to simply sign in with my Google account. So now I have a Unity account. Over here, I'm going to just click on sign in, allow, and now you can see here I'm also signed in. Now that we're signed in, let's go ahead and install Unity. You can see I currently have the current version 2022.3. If I click install, you can see there's a bunch of different versions. But for Lighthship 3.0, we want a specific version. So let's go back to our documentation. And you can see here, install Unity 2021 LTS. LTS stands for long-term support. 2021.3.17 as of this writing. So if we come here, we're looking for the 2021 LTS version. Over here it says 3.17. If you look here, we don't have a 3.17. We have 2022.3, 2022.3, 2021.3.30. This says 17 as of this writing. Currently, it's 3.30 instead of 3.17. So this is the version that we need. If you're on a M1 or a M2 Mac, you want to select Silicon. If you're on an Intel-based Mac, you want to select the Intel version. I'm going to go ahead and click this. Inside of here, we definitely want to be able to deploy to multiple devices like Android and iOS. So make sure you select Android build support and have these selected. Make sure you have iOS build support selected. WebGL, you don't necessarily need, so I'm going to take that off because I'm primarily building AR functionality here. And I'm going to click continue. Agree to the terms of service and install. Now it will install the version that we need, 2021 LTS for Lighthship 3.0. Now that it's installed, let's click on projects. Let's go ahead and create a new project. Remember, I have two versions. You want to make sure that you select the 2021 version. So I'm going to select 2021.3.30. We want to select 3D Core. I'm going to call this Learn Lightship series. You can call it whatever you want. Select where you want to save it and create. Unity is now open, and for my new beginners, don't worry, at the end I will give you some resources for you to kind of get used to Unity, learn the basics. So for right now, just follow. My Unity veterans, you kind of know this interface, but let's quickly go over it. On the left side, we kind of have our hierarchy. This is all of the different game objects, assets that you're going to use to build out your AR scene. In the middle, you have the scene. This is where you organize, you move things around. These are the tools that you kind of have here. On the right side, you have your inspector. The inspector are like properties for your different game objects. For example, if I click on the main camera, you can see it in the scene. This is what it's currently looking at. On the right side, these are the properties. It has a camera on it, has an audio listener. If I click on directional light, this is kind of the sun in your scene. You can see it is a light. It has a direction. Quickly, these are the tools. You have your view tool, your move tool, your rotate tool, your scale tool, your rect tool, and your transform tool. You can also use the keyboard shortcuts for this. If you start at the Q on your keyboard, this is Q, this is W, E, R, T, Y. So if I press R, you can see that gets highlighted. If I press Q, you can see that gets highlighted. At the bottom, you have your project space. This is where you stay organized. You make folders to keep your different assets organized, and we will do that in this as well. We are here. We've created step 2. In your Unity project, open up the package manager by selecting Window, Package Manager, and we're going to need to do these 3 steps. So we're going to click here at Window. Here is my package manager. It will pop open like this. You can dock these windows. We're going to need this later on. So I'll just dock it here, and you dock it. If you do like this, it's going to make a new window. But if you see where you can drag it next to it, I can dock that right there. So this video is going to focus on doing it this way, installing the ARDK plugin with your URL. The next video I'm going to do installing a plugin with Tarball tomorrow, and that'll be on a Windows machine. So that way you'll have both ways and learn how to do that. So let's follow these steps here. You can see I'm going to need to add the package from the get, and I'm going to need this URL. So I'm going to copy this right now. And over here, I'm going to click on plus. I'm going to select this third one, add package from get URL. I'm going to paste in that URL. I'm going to click add. You can see it's going to download that. While it is downloading that, let's see, what are we grabbing from? This is the URL. This is just the current assets that allows you to use Lighthship 3.0. You can see it's been updated 2 weeks ago. When this warning pops up, the project is using new input system, we definitely want to press yes. It's also going to restart Unity, but these are the current beta releases updated just 2 weeks ago. Gives you some great new functionality. Now that Unity has restarted, you can see here it has Niantic Lightship AR plugin. Now, the next step, if we wanted shared AR, we would need this get URL. Might as well do that as now as well. So do the same steps, click on plus, I'm going to select this. I'm going to paste in that URL, I'm going to click on add. While it's adding, let's go check that out. This is the GitHub repo, and you can see this was also updated 2 weeks ago. This allows you to build an AR experience that you and 9 other people, so 10 people, can actually have that same experience. It's really powerful because they're taking all the networking out of it. So this is done. We've already installed ARDK using the URL. Again, I will show you how to do this tomorrow in my Windows version of getting set up with Lighthship. So now let's go ahead and do selecting our mobile platform. I'm on a Mac. In order to build for an iOS device, you need a Mac computer. You can build also for Android devices on a Mac computer, but to build for an iOS device, you need a Mac computer. So that's why this is going to focus on that. My Windows build tomorrow will focus on Android, and I'll show you the additional steps you need to do that. So what we need to do is go to our build settings. So we're going to go to File, we're going to go to Build Settings. This window pops up. I'm going to dock it down here, and you can move these windows around later on. You can also create custom layouts and save them over here. Here inside of Build Settings, we're going to switch to iOS. I'm going to select iOS. I'm going to select Switch. Now I need to update a couple settings. I'm going to click on Player Settings right here. I'm going to dock this window as well, right there. I'm going to come down to Other Settings. So these are the settings for Android. I will show you that on tomorrow's video. Let's go through these settings for iOS. We need to come to Other Settings, Identification, Signing, and enter your Apple developer account. Other settings is right here. I'm going to come down. Here is the signing team ID. I need to put that inside of here. And you see it gives you a link, developer.apple.com. So once you come to developer.apple.com and you click sign in, you can see you can sign in with your information. Once you do that, scroll to the bottom. Here is your ID. I'm going to copy that and paste that here. Next step here is make sure we add in a camera description. So if we come down here, camera usage description, I always do used for augmented reality. This will show up to the user. It will prompt, hey, this app is using your camera. And then the description you type here will show up. I'm using your camera for augmented reality. Also, location description, Niantic also has that. So I'm going to put that there. And while we're at it, microphone usage, I'm not going to show you in this video how to do it, but this is going to be an AR app. If I'm using the microphone, it's going to be used for augmented reality. You can put anything you want. Like you can see here, they put Lighthship ARDK. Other settings, target minimum, iOS version is 14, so we need to come on down. Here's that target minimum. We're going to change that to 14.0. And then lastly, other settings, architecture, select ARM. If you scroll down, you can see architecture ARM is already selected, so that is done. With that done, now let's move on to activating the Lighthship plugin. You can see we need to go to the project settings, edit the project settings, and add in our Lighthship. So we don't have to go all and do that. That's why I docked this project settings here. We're simply coming to this area, XR plugin management. Now I'm going to click the check mark here, and now we have Lighthship inside of our project. You can see it's compiling it, it's adding in all the functionality to use AR foundations with the enhancements of Lighthship, the icing on the cake. Super, super powerful. Next step, adding your API key to the Unity project. We got to visit lighthship.dev. We already created an account. That's before. Go ahead and click on sign in. It should be signed in already. I'm going to click on projects. I'm going to click new project. Let's call it Learn Lightship 3.0. And here I can put tutorial series learning Niantic Lightship 3.0 to make AR experiences. You can put whatever you want there. This is what we need, is this key. I'm going to click on that, copy that. I need it back here in Unity so it links and it gives me all the functionality that I kind of need to my account. And click on Lightship, settings. Over here, I'm going to paste in that API key, press enter. That completes this process for us. Installing Gradle for Android, I will take you through that tomorrow on the Windows machine, or I will focus on how to set this up for Android. Setting up an AR scene is our last step that we need to do. We're going to create a new basic scene. So from the file menu, we're going to do new scene. So over here, file, new scene. I'm going to select basic. I'm going to do create. I'm going to come back over here to my scene view. I have a main camera. I want to delete that camera. I'm going to need to add in two things, an AR session, which stands for augmented reality session, and an XR origin. The origin is where is the phone currently at, and the camera will be positioned relative to that XR origin. So you can see that those are the steps over here. Game object, XR, AR session. It adds that in. I don't have to always come here. I can also click on this little plus right here. XR is also here, and I can come down to the XR origin mobile AR, which we also need. You can see when I drop that down, the XR origin has a camera in it. That's the reason we deleted the other camera. This is untitled. I want to go ahead and save this. I'm going to do file save. And I want to save this inside of my scenes. I want to stay organized, and let's call this Learn Lightship. Now we have Lightship set up here, and we're pretty much done. But we have nothing here, Jamie. What do you mean we're done? So now we're done with that. So now what do we want to do? We have everything set up. This is great, but I actually want to build something. I want to see it on the device. So let's go to the simple how-to section. And these are a bunch of different things that you can use on your own. Let's do real-world occlusion. Now, what is occlusion? Occlusion allows AR to look like it exists in the real world. Niantic handles all of this for you in a very easy method by simply adding a certain component to the main camera. Here is Niantic's documentation. Place or move content behind real-world object without breaking immersion. Without an understanding of depth, virtual objects will sometimes unrealistically be visible behind real-world objects. For example, in the comparison below, the virtual Yeti, called Doty, without an occlusion, is visible even as it moves behind the wall. With occlusion, the Yeti is properly hidden and appears much more believable as part of the environment. So here, you can see as he moves left, he's in front of the wall. It doesn't look realistic. Occlusion finds real-world objects and it blocks out that AR content to make it seem like he's walking behind that world. You can see there's some other things here that explain how do you enable occlusion. Suppressing semantic occlusion, understanding screens mesh. This is documentation. This is your challenge as well. Read through this documentation so you can get a better understanding of it. But let's come back here and let's just simply set up our occlusion, add some things, test on our thing, and we'll wrap up this video. Setting up occlusion in ARDK. If you did not install ARDK, add an AR session. We just did that. Create an AR session via that. We did that. Step 3. We did that. XR origin. We got all that stuff. Great. Add an AR occlusion manager to your camera object. This is the simple step that you need to add occlusion to any AR project. Niantic handles everything else for you. We're just going to click on our main camera. You see it has all these different things. An AR camera manager, an AR camera background, track post. But now we simply want to add our occlusion manager. Click add component. I want to type in AR OC, and you can see it pops up I add that, and that's as simple as it is to add occlusion to an AR experience, where if something comes in front of your AR object, it will block it out and make it seem more realistic. That's all it takes. We're done. You can see step 5, add a cube, offset it, build to the device. I don't want to add a cube. I want to add some more realistic stuff. So let's add in a couple different characters, and we'll just have them in the space. But that's it for this tutorial. So here's a great website, Mixamo. Mixamo is created by Adobe. Get animated, animate 3D characters for games, films, and more. Sign up is free, or you can log in. You can see you can create an account. I'm gonna log in again with my Google. And we're gonna find a character that we'll add to our Unity game that we can deploy and test the occlusion. So that guy looks fine. You can see here, Mixamo, they have characters and animations. I'm gonna click on characters. Look at these weird characters. Maybe I wanted that guy. Oh, how about Jolene, an elf? Maybe we'll do 2 characters. How about that? So I'm gonna add Jolene. And I don't want Jolene like in this T-pose. I want Jolene kind of like dancing. So I'm gonna click here. I'm clicking animations. I'm gonna click search, and let's do dance. So maybe Jolene is doing this. Oh, Jolene is getting it, see? And we're just simply gonna download this. To download, I'm gonna do FBX for Unity, and I will go ahead and click download. And maybe I wanted somebody else doing the same thing. I mean, you can do a bunch of different characters. Maybe you wanted the mouse. So I will simply leave that same one, or I could do a different animation, right? Come back here, let's click on dance. Let's see what else we got. Let's see, I want the mouse doing this. So there we go, that's cool. I'm gonna click download. So now I have 2 things that I want to pull into Unity. I'm gonna come back to my project, and let's open up that folder. So I have that folder here. In order, we want to stay organized, so I'm going to make a folder here. Right click, create folder, call it prefabs. And I'm just going to open that folder, and I will drag these 2 into here. Now you can see I can drag these now into my scene, and if you select an object and you mouse over the scene and you press F, it will focus on that. You can see the color's not in there. What do we want to do is we want to extract that color. So I'm going to select the mouse here, click on materials. I need to extract these textures and extract the materials. So I'm going to, we need folders for that. So let's do that first. I right click, I'm going to do create. I'm going to do folder, I'm going to do textures, I'm going to right click, I'm going to do create, folder, I'm going to do materials. Now let's go back to our prefabs, click on this, I'm going to do extract textures, I'm going to select my textures folder and extract those. If an issue pops up, click on fix now. There's my color. I'm going to do extract materials. You can see the material is still not here. I'm going to select that materials folder that we created, click choose, and there we go. Now the other thing I want to do with this is the rig. It says animation type is generic. I want to change that to humanoid, create from this model. It has 4 bones, great, and I'll click apply. So now let's drag in this elf, and same thing. This elf is not looking right. So this is my challenge to you. Get this elf, pause the video, and get this elf looking right. Now that you got your elf looking right, kind of like mine, let's actually position these right. And here's where we're going to use some of these tools if you've not used Unity before. So I'm going to select my elf. I can select this move tool. You can see this little move tool shows up here. I want to move this forward, and let's put it like at 2. And I also obviously want to rotate it, so I can click on this, or I can press the E key and then I can drag it around, or I also could have come over here and typed 180. Now, this mouse, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do 2. But let's move around. So to move in Unity, if you're brand new to it, you can right click to kind of look around. You can scroll in, scroll out. If you hold the scroll wheel, you can move sideways or move up and down. So if you've not used Unity before, definitely, number one, you need to learn how to navigate. All right, so here we are. I'm going to try to come closer to my camera. So now I can, let's move this mouse guy over to the left by dragging him. Let's rotate him by doing 180. And there's what I kind of got. I can click on my camera to see they're way too high. So I want to bring these two things down. I'm going to click, hold shift and click both of them. Let's go down, I don't know. Let's say 1. Let's see how that looks on the camera. Yeah, I'm cool with that. So that's what my experience will look like. So now this looks fine. If we press play, you'll notice the animation does not start. They're just kind of frozen. And we want the animation to play. Again, I'm going to show you a resource to kind of learn all these things, but for now you're just following me if you're brand new. So to get this animation to start, if we click on this guy, you can see it does not have an animation controller. Neither one of these. So you need an animation controller to play this animation. So we need to create an animation controller. I'm going to simply make a folder, call it animations. Then I'm going to right click, create, and I'm going to select an animation controller. And I'm going to say mouse, dance, and I'm going to double click on mouse dance. And you can see right now there's nothing there. But if I click on silly dancing, I drag this over here. Now mouse dance will control this animation. Right now the animation is not in the animator. I know there's a lot of terms if this is brand new, but again, I will show you some resources for you to kind of get up to speed on this stuff. I'm going to click back to my prefabs. I'm going to simply drag the mouse in here. Now you can see what happens. When this app launches or when this scene launches, the mouse starts here, it's going to automatically go to silly dancing. So if we come back and test it by simply pressing play, the mouse is now dancing. So what it does is 2 moves and then it kind of stops. My next challenge to you is to get the elf to work. So pause the video and get the elf to start dancing. All right, if you were able to successfully do that, if you press play, this is what will happen. You can see you should have 2 different things dancing. The reason everything is black is this is going to be actually the real world. These things will show up in your real world. Now that we have our experience, let's go ahead and build it. So now we're going to come back to build settings. I'm going to go back to my player settings really fast. Let's click on project, click on player. Up here, instead of default company, type in your name or type in something else. So I'm going to do WJG reality. But now we're simply ready to build. Let's click on build. And in this project, I'm going to make a folder called build. And I'm going to click on, this is my iOS. I'm going to make another one called iOS because you might have an Android folder. And I will build that. Well, you can see if you didn't save the scene, you definitely want to do that first. It's going to build an Xcode project. In order to build for iOS, you need a Mac because you need Xcode. It's going to build that Xcode project. We're going to open that Xcode project, plug in my phone, deploy it to my phone, and then test the actual AR experience, and we're done. For the future weeks, we're going to add some great stuff, some great features, and learn how to create some amazing AR experiences. Here is the completed build folder. If you had any issues, it would show up here in the console, and it wouldn't create this build folder, so you would have to fix those, but you shouldn't have any issues. The only issue you could have is if you did not type in a description for the location or for the camera usage. Here is what the Xcode project looks like. I'm going to go ahead and double click that. This is Xcode. You can watch my Vision Pro Spatial Sunday series to kind of learn how to build with Xcode beta for the new device next year. But to simply deploy it, all we're going to do is click on Unity, sign-in capabilities. We're going to select Automatic Manage, Enable Automatic. We're going to select our little team. And then now we're ready to build. We need to connect our device. So I'm going to plug in my iPhone. On your iPhone, it might ask you to trust the computer. You need to do trust. And once you do, you can click here and you can see that will show up. Now I'm ready to build. I simply press play and this project will build to my device. You can see it finished building. Now it says installing to my phone. Here it is running on my phone. I have just created an AR experience. The occlusion part. So let's say I move a chair. It looks like this mouse is actually my space because the chair is being occluded. Simply by adding that one component to our camera, Niantic handles everything for you. So that, if I did the same thing here, see how it looks, it makes it look more realistic. This is one of the great features. We did this really, really fast. So this video is pretty long. Here's my challenge to you. I want you to add other characters. Maybe modify this, move them down so they're ground level. That'll give you some experience with that. Also, look through Mixamo. You can download other characters. You can download other animations. Add them into your experience. Use your creativity. Now's your time to explore. So that's my challenge to you. For my brand new people, to get you up to speed with Unity, I want you to go to learn.unity.com. Here you can click on Pathways. And I want you, this is a challenge for you. You can see it says 2 weeks. Click on this pathway. Get started with Unity. This mission will guide you to first install Unity Editor. I already showed you how to do that. Here, explore Unity. Learn what Unity is and how it is used while creating simple 2D and 3D real-time experiences. This should take you a little bit longer, 10 hours. So go through the essentials of 3D. Programming you don't need to do, audio you don't need to do, but I want you to go through this one, Essentials of 3D. Learn Unity, learn how Unity fits into the broader creative thing. This is 1 hour, I definitely want you to do this. So if you're brand new to Unity, or if you're not brand new to Unity, and you haven't gone through some of these details, I want you to go through this, Unity Essentials. That's been my challenge. I hope you had a great Learning Lightship Wednesday. I will see you next week. AR is going to change the world. Everyone can learn, so let's create a diverse group of immersioneers. Learn more about Vision OS or Lightship by subscribing, liking, and sharing today.